All right, everybody. So what we're going to talk about today is Module 4, Project 1. Okay, so you were given this data set, 2017, 2018, WFTDA rankings.xlsx. Okay, so as it mentions in the assignment, it contains periodic rankings of women's flat track derby associations reported by the international organization. You're going to see separate tabs for different periods of time. There is a column for each of these sheets with the international rank. It's noted in column A, and the league date is in column C. Okay, so if we look at this data, okay, it looks like it's already got a table formatted here for us. Okay, I can tell that by clicking on these little doohickeys right here. And it's got filters applied. So it hasn't been formatted as a table yet. So the first step I'm going to take here is I'm going to actually format this as a table. So I'm going to demo on this one what it would be like if we were to use VLookup, and then I'm going to show you something else that I would suggest you use. Okay, I know that in the assignment it suggests VLookup, but then it also says consider how you might handle this information and make more appropriate additions or changes to the sheets as needed. Now, one of the limitations to VLookup, well, there's many, but one of them we're going to demonstrate right here. Okay, so in a traditional sense, if we were to just, go ahead and do VLookup, the first thing we need to do is we would need to reorder this information here. Because in order for VLookup to work, and I will come over here, we'll start it. So VLookup, okay. So I just started typing, and then when it made the suggestion, I hit the tab button to give me the full formula. Okay, so I also clicked on this little FX so I could get this pop up here so I could see all my function arguments because I find that helpful. Okay, so the way that VLookup works is first we specify our lookup value. So in this instance, our lookup value is we want to look up the 10th, okay, roller derby. Okay, this is what we're going to match to our table over here. Okay, now in order for this to work, this information needs to be sorted and ordered in the same way in this table, and also the column I want to reference, it needs to be in the far left position for VLookup to work. So I couldn't get this working right yet. I would have to cancel out and head on into my data tab and make some adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to show you the adjustments you would make if you were going to do VLookup. We're going to run the VLookup, see what happens, and then make a different decision about where to go from there. Okay, so right now I've got some filters applied. I came into my data. I can tell that by, again, this little doohickey, they've made this all filterable. So if I just click unclear filter, it removes all those filters. If I wanted to put them all back, I could simply select the entire data set again and click filter, and I would find them again. Okay, so I unselected them to start. I'm going to select my table range again. I use Shift Control and then my arrow keys. If you are on a Mac, it's Command Shift and then your arrow keys. Okay. All right, so I've selected my data. I'm going to head into my Home tab, and I have this Format as a Table option. You can pick any style you want, Once I click it, it's going to give me this little pop-up. It says, where is the data for your table? Well, I've already selected it for you, so you don't need to know. It's already there. If I could type this in manually as well. I'm going to make sure that my table has headers is selected so that this row right here, my header row, isn't treated as data. Okay. And again, I can change the format of this table however I want. Okay, whatever works best for you is what I suggest you do. Okay. So I still have to address the fact that the league is not in the leftmost column in order for VLookup to work. So I could do this a number of ways. I could come on over here to column A, click on it up in the top, and then right click and hit insert. I could then come over here to column D, click on it, and do my, a quick copy and paste. Boom. Then I could come on over here, right click and delete this. But you'll see now that because I formatted it as a table first, this is now not a table. So I could undo if I wanted to be very clean about this. and get back to the point before I even had a table and then do this insert process. I could also come on over here to the shortcut. I could say insert, okay? These cells are still copied right here. So if I were to click insert copy cells, it would paste it right there. But that's not the right column of data. So I have to come back over here to C. I'll hit column C. I hit Control C to copy the data. I again placed my cursor on column A and I said insert copied cells and it did it for me. Okay, I could then come back over here and click delete and boom, it's gone. Okay, so you could use any number of ways of going about that you may want. Okay, so now I've got this formatted properly. I'm going to head back over into my VLookup function and see if I can get it to work now. Okay, all right. Oh, I forgot one item. So the other piece of VLookup is, if you'll notice here, this starts with Victoria and then has no alphabetical ordering. But if I come on over here, these are all alphabetically ordered. So that is one more step I need to take. So I could go ahead and I could click on this column. Okay, if I were to select the entire column and then sort this data, we'll see what happens. I'm going to click sort A to Z. Okay, I am now getting a pop-up that says, hey, we found the data next to your selection. So if you do this sort of just this column, everyone's rankings are going to get mixed. Okay, so I would take its suggestion to expand the selection. I'm going to undo and do that a different way. Okay, so that's one way I could do it. Again, I clicked here, I clicked A to Z, and it told me, hey, you might want to do this with everything. So I did, and you'll notice that all my rankings changed too. So all the data that was there, I think changed, but I can't be certain. I can't know for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this as a table. Okay, so I'll format it as a table. I'll click OK, and then I will click here, sort A to Z, and then I know it's treating all of this data as a table. It was selected properly, and it all got mixed in the way that it should have. Okay, so now, according to the way that VLookup works, I have structured my data set that I'm going to be using to look up a value, and in this case, that's the rank. Okay. And I've done it alphabetically. I've mirrored this. I've made sure that this is in the left-hand column. So these are some of the changes I've made in the data. I'm going to look back at this other one, and you'll see here that this is kind of how it looks. Okay. So we will now try equals VLookup. Okay. So my lookup value is my mountain roller derby. Okay. I will comma my table array. That is going to be this whole table right here. Okay. In this instance, I know I only want rank, but who knows what I may want. Okay. All right. So I could also, if I wanted, since I know specifically I only want the rank, I could make this even a smaller selection and just do these two. Okay. Either one will work. Column index. Okay. So this is the first column in the data set. So the column that I want to pull is 2. So I'll say 2. Okay. And then it asks me, do you want an appropriate or exact match? I want an exact match. Okay. In this case, because I there's potential that, for example, West Coast Derby and West Coast Texas might be treated the same, because it's going to see West and just make an assumption, because it does this in order. Okay. So I went ahead and I closed my function. I'm going to hit return and see what happens. NA. Well, the only reason that should happen is if the 10th Mountain Roller Derby is not in the league in September 2017. And if I go here, I don't see them. I do see the 2x4 Roller Derby. So they're the next one. So I'm just going to pull this down and see if it works. It looks like it did. So it says it was 20th in September 17. I go here, 20 is the number. Okay. So I'm going to trust that that's working. All right. So I'm going to just come on over here. My arrow will change. We've talked a little bit in the readings about the different arrows and what they mean, or the different crosses in Excel. So I'm going to come on over here to the right-hand bottom corner and get this thin line one. Double click, and it should cascade all of those all the way down for me. Okay, I'm just going to scan to the bottom. All right, so and I'll do some visual checking. I'll come in here now and say, well, is that really what, these are roller girls were 239th in rank? And it looks like they were. Okay, I'll get an NA whenever it doesn't appear that that team is there. So it looks like my VL lookup worked fine in this instance. Okay. So you could continue this process on. We would go through. Okay, you would unselect the filters here. You would just click here to select the whole sheet. Come to data, unfilter. Okay, you can copy and use the insert function just to, reorder things really quickly. Again, I do suggest as a best practice, you always format as a table because it just increases your functionality in Excel. Okay, I'm here and I'm going to do it again. So VLookup. Okay, this is my index. In this one, I'm coming to a different column. I just want a different table. I just want now November 17 instead of September 17. Okay. My index column again is 2, the second column of data. Now, if I wanted, for example, and I might in a different instance, get the, number of wins, for example, I would have to select the full range, and then we will actually do it here. So I could do this a number of ways, but I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to tell it, actually, the index column is 4 instead, just for demonstration purposes for right now to see what happens. Okay, NA again, double click down. You'll see that now I'm getting the number of wins and losses. Okay, this is the incorrect field. So I would, go through the process of checking my data and say, actually, no, not W. I want their rank in the league. Now, the reason why I'm able to do this and make these changes here easily is because I have formatted the data as a table in the other sheet. Okay? Oh, something's wrong. I'm going to just delete and start over, because sometimes that is the most straightforward way to figure out what's happening in Excel. Now, again, VLookup is a useful tool. It does have its limitations. Okay. Oh. All right, I'll scroll down again. See, it looks like it's working. Okay, so now I could go through this process for everybody for each month and format my data in a nice, clean way. I've actually done that in this other example here. So all of these have already been done and treated. Okay.